Welcome to 365 Ujima. Here we know that community is not an abstract idea. It's who brings the meal, who drives you to your appointment, who checks on your children, who prays when the diagnosis comes, who stays. Ujima means collective work and collective responsibility. It is the understanding that none of us are meant to carry life alone. Each month we'll gather in 4 ways. On the block, we'll witness neighbors building care systems that rarely make the headlines. On the future, young voices will tell us what health, safety, and belonging looks like in their world. On the legacy, elders will offer memory as infrastructure and wisdom as blueprints. And on the porch, we will sit together and name what all of it means. We will ask what responsibility this moment places on us. We will also speak honestly about health disparities in Black communities, about prevention, about screenings, and about resources, not with fear, but with power, because information shared is power multiplied. This podcast is not about perfection. Oh no, it's about participation. It is about remembering that care is not just personal, it is collective. And when community becomes care, care becomes our power. This is 365 Ujima. Let's begin. So March is Women's History Month, everyone. And this month we're going to be exploring women as collective care architects. The women who organize rides before anybody asks, who remembers doctor's appointments that aren't even their own, who cook, who coordinate, who pray, who advocate, who stay, not for applause, not for headlines, but because the community depends on it. And this is what we call the block. So this month's focus is about how women build informal health systems within their neighborhood. And we've got 2 amazing humans with us. It actually is a mother-daughter duo that I've had the privilege of knowing. They have been a blessing in my life. Many of you know that Ujima Institute has been around for a while, but when we came to Monroe, we had the Ujima Center, and these 2 ladies were the first, right? They are the OGs of the Ujima Center. And so we've got Ruthie Evans and Ebony Evans. Real quick, Ruthie, tell the people about yourself. Where are you from? How did you end up in Monroe? I know you are working on a doctoral degree, but tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay, just a little bit about myself. I am a mother of 7 wonderful kids, 21 beautiful grandkids. All of them are spoiled to death. I embrace this platform as a woman that find herself in these shoes every day, being a support system. And that's the one thing that drove me to Monroe. Was 28-year veteran in the Grambling Ruston area. And because of my family and me wanting to start afresh, get my husband off the road. He had been traveling 28 years, going back and forth to work, and it was just an opportunity for us to reset, and we set our footprints here in the Monroe, West Monroe area.
Wow.
To know and fell in love with Dr. VanHoose immediately. She has been a beacon of light for me. Even though our paths do not cross every single day, but when we come in connection, it's 2 women engaging and embracing the individuality of each other. And I'm just excited to sit in this room today with you.
Wow. See, she finna try to make me cry, y'all, today, because she got that power. She got that power. Ebony Evans, tell the people a little bit about yourself. I mean, so I'm gonna. I said, tell them about yourself, and then I was like, oh, but I got to give them some pieces about her goodness. So if you want to talk about a connector, if you want to talk about somebody who can do intergenerational care, right, who can whisper to the children, but then also sit in a room with the old people and say, hey, y'all need to listen to me. this is your person, right? She is a bridge in our community. And so, Ebony Evans, what else would you like for the people to know about you?
Hi, my name is Ebony Evans. I am from Grambling, but I moved to Monroe in 2021. I followed my parents up here in honor of two amazing, beautiful girls, Eternity and Andrea. I work at Richwood Middle School now, um, and I just love community. I love seeing people smile. I love making a difference. I love being the outcast because it's something different, being new here, being young, not being from here, and trying to make a difference. Is sometimes you can feel like an outcast, but I'm an outcast in a good way at times.
Come on. Yes, you are.
Yes.
And so, talking about being an outcast in a good way, when did you realize in your life journey that people were depending on you? When did that aha moment happen for you?
Okay, I'm gonna have an aha moment. Like, I'm gonna have a serious aha moment.
Okay.
When I used to walk my baby brother to class when I was a little girl, like I used to go to his class, like, and tell his teachers about what to do for him and what not to do and how he did on the bus. That's whenever I knew that that people depend on me because it was my little brother that I did. But in my adult life, it kind of hit me after my grandmother passed away. That's when it kind of hit me with that. So that's to say that I kind of realized that people, are going to depend on me, and I ran from it for like a long, long, long time. And when we got connected in 2022, yeah, 2022. Yeah, I think it's 2022, right? 2022.
It's
Yeah,
either
we got connected in
2021 or
2022.
2022. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. When we got connected then, and you just pushed me out there, and it really showed me that you know people are depending on me. They are dependent on the insight I can bring, my creative ideas that I have. That's when I, like, realized it. But most importantly, when I gave birth to my first daughter in 2014, that's when it really was like, okay, yeah, I got a little person depending on me. So that's when it all started.
Right.
So, Ebony, I'm going to ask if you can move closer to your Wi-Fi because you are buffering really bad. So if you can, mute yourself, hide your camera, and go to your house, and that'll bring you closer to your Wi-Fi and we get better signal.
Come on, Ruthie, come with the wisdom. She come with the IT wisdom. Y'all weren't ready. Oh, so Ruthie, wow, Ebony is repositioning herself, y'all. So first of all, the digital divide is a real thing. So we up here in Northeast Louisiana, and so Wi-Fi is not our strength, but we do the best we can do.
Hmm.
So it's a combination of we've got Monroe, West Monroe, but either way, we need some investment in some Wi-Fi. But it's coming. It's coming. So Miss
Amen. Amen.
Ruthie, I'm curious for you. When did you realize that people were showing up for you? That people were depending on you to show up?
Well, for me, my realization came. It didn't come in a single moment, but it was more gradual. And then one day you realize that people are calling, looking at you, and they call on you first
Yeah.
you know um before exploring their other options. You are the one that they call on when they need prayer. You are the one that they call on when a family member is sick, or when a family member is downtrodden, or a family member needs someone needs a meal prepared. out of the ordinary, or someone that just needs a word of wisdom.
Yeah.
And I found myself being that person, I would say, early on in my teens. It didn't start with me as I matured as a young woman. It started early when my mom had an expectation of me having food and meals cooked when she got home. That the expectation of being going to care for my grandparents and going to check on them, and the expectation of showing up and being present in church and being actively involved in church, and people just calling it with an expectation. So I realized people depended on me when I noticed that I become that person that everybody leaned on.
Yeah.
When I became that mother at an early age, you know regardless of how that happened, but there was an expectation placed on me. And so, and with that, and being placed in that position, I began to grow in the fact that, hey, I have to be a certain person at a certain time. I just can't be that average teenage girl, but I had to be that person that when someone needed a babysitter. Ruthie was the one. She has the baby anyway. So she's the one that's going to be there, and she's going to come there, and she's going to care for those kids, and she's going to make sure that they eat. And so as I began to matriculate in life, I became that leaning post for a lot of people,
Yeah.
without the option of saying no.
That
I
part.
always pulling in, leaning in, and saying, "How can I help you? What's next?" And even I find myself still sitting in that role today. You know,
See, and I
so
love the
that
fact of that.
that's
How
when.
you talked about how, like, for women in general, we learn to mother early. Like, even if you're not talking
Mhm.
about having children, we learn that there's a mothering role that each of us have to take on. Like Ebony was talking about when, when she was helping with her brother, right?
Mhm.
But the fact that for many of us, it's not even an option to say no.
That's right. That's
And
right.
some of it is because of our family structures, some of it is dysfunction, some of it is just because of who we are as humans. But I know each of you, Ebony and Ruthie, each of you are, well integrated into our communities. You've got church homes, you've got professional homes, you've got your social homes. I'm curious to know, like, if we were to lift up other queens and princesses in our community, who and how do you see women showing up in the Monroe, West Monroe area? And Ruthie, we'll start with you.
You're asking me that question, or Ebony?
We'll start with you, Miss Ruthie. Who
Ebony.
and how do you see women showing up for each other? Am I buffering now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh shucks.
So I am I'm 13 years old in this here community. When I first came to this area, I came here just to reside. This was a place of residence for me. I was not really foots on the ground, boots on the ground, engaged in everything that was going on in the community. Didn't have a clear understanding of where the leadership lies, that what their agendas were for this particular area. So I didn't look for a lot of buy-in from women supporting women. But as I began to just out into the community and learn the people and start engaging myself in some of the what they call it, the coffee and tea moments with the mayor, and then just really listening in you listen here having a listening ear to what the leaders of the communities were saying, what were the women of the leaders, the women that led in the communities, what their platform was. And I honestly, what I would see was a lot of words and not a lot of work.
Mm.
A lot of promises without purpose.
Come on.
I saw a lot of that, which caused me to pause a bit and saying, do I want to be familiarized with this level of mentality? Because I'm a person, I just don't want to be in the game without being a player of the game. Meaning that I can be in a basketball game, but if I don't know how to play basketball, I'm just in the game. And I want to know the rules of engagement. So it was a drawback for me to get engaged and because I just didn't see a lot of women supporting women. I did not. And it was not until truly Ebony introduced me and engaged me in with the Ujima Institute, the Ujima Center. And that's when I truly began to lean in, and
Wow.
because you gave a voice to really truly open up what was going on, and it made me take the scale off of my eyes and go into a place where I don't want to just reside, but I want to live in the community. And when you live in something, that means that you're rooted and you're beginning to ground yourself and be a productive part of what is going on. So since then, I would say that one of the most impactful people that I've seen engaging in the community with heart and soul was my daughter. I'm not saying that because she is my daughter, but I know her passion, and she was doing it without with she didn't want the recognition. She did not want, the people to give her a pat on the back. She just wanted to help somebody. And
Mm.
she's always been that way. I mean, even from a little girl. So I would, when praying for her, I would often say, Lord, the roles have truly turned, and that now she's influencing me rather than me being that influencer to her. So and another woman would be yourself, you know, and there's so many others out there, but I'm talking about the ones that have made a significant impact to me in this community, in this Monroe, West Monroe area, and has allowed the scales to fall off of my eyes and actually see what's going on and finding a way to give back. Yeah.
I don't know how you gonna follow up with that one. But the question was who and how do you see women showing up in our community?
I know that's hard to follow. That's hard, but I'm gonna say what I need to say. That's hard, but again, not being from here, as far as not being born here, but like she moving here. In the beginning, I really didn't see it because I didn't put myself in certain rooms to see it. One person that I can say really, besides that helped me with community was Jessica Walker. She's an amazing person, an amazing footprint here in Monroe and West Monroe. She will always send me things and always encourage me to attend things. And at one point in time, like I just stepped away from community altogether because I was trying to figure some things out. But in the midst of me stepping away, Jessica still will like invite me to mixers, invite me to different things, send me different opportunities. So with her, she put me in a lot of different rooms. On top of the center put me like in a lot of different rooms too, because I was over community. So that's where it started. When I had to go to these meetings and meet these people and talk to these different people that are, you know, probably just see me as this young little girl just coming in here just to chit chat.
But it set amazing relationships. And then whenever I did step away from community for like a year, uh, in the midst of that, that's whenever Jessica came, and she always just invited me to things. And whenever I came back, it just happened to be that Monroe, the women here in Monroe and West Monroe, there is a lot of impactful, powerful women that are here in this area. You have some amazing women that are doing some amazing things. We just have to just find a way to like key in and just lift each other up and not try to tear each other down or not try to outdo each other. Just just support each other, where we can. And one person that I can say is personally is my mom. Believe it or not, please believe it. Is my mom. I seen her, and do a lot of stuff. Like I seen her raise kids and put herself on the back burner for years. Like whenever it came to school, she didn't go back to college until we were grown. We were out of high school. So I seen those sacrifices, the making sacrifices to just be the wife that she is, on top of that being the mother. And the one impact that she might not ever know, but when it was in 2022, when my dad had that massive heart attack.
Yeah.
And I seen her courage. I seen how she looked at doctor dead in the face and said, "My husband should live and not die, and you can leave." When you tell your own kids, if you don't believe, y'all can go. Those are your own kids. So that was just, so to go back, I kind of got off kilter, but to go back to what you said, just being in rooms that it's okay to go by yourself. It's okay to go
Mm.
to an event by yourself. You don't need to have someone to go with you. Like, and I'm learning that because I'm a very codependent person. But
Yeah.
I'm learning you don't have to have someone to go to the mayor's ball with you. Go and buy that dress, get your hair done, put that makeup on, drop these kids off, and say I'm going to the mayor's ball, and I'm gonna meet some people there. So that's what I plan on doing in 2026. Like just going by myself. I don't need anyone to go with me. It's nice to have someone to go with you, but
That's good.
sometimes you need to go into rooms by yourself in order to set a set tone for yourself, for your legacy, and for your brand.
Ooh, that was good. That was good. Is my audio okay, y'all? Can y'all hear
That's
me?
good.
All right. Because
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
Ebony, what I just heard you say was a master class, right? Because there are times that we have to recognize that maybe our plan, our God's plan for us is taking us into rooms that we got to go by ourselves so that we can meet the next set of people that we're going to partner with to be able to address whatever it is that
That's
God
good.
wants us to be able to help bring a solution to or to move forward. And so sometimes you do have to, like you said, put on that dress, put on your makeup, put on your wig, buff your scalp if it's me, and go into that space as if you belong. Um, and I love the way that we have been able to see you evolve as a leader and the story that you shared
Mhm.
about your mama and what, happened to your dad and how she stood in that place of crises and said, this is what I'm declaring. This is what God has told me about it. And if you're not ready, then you need to leave, right? And I think there are times that we've seen in history, both past and also this present moment where women have had to say, there is something going on in my life that is not good, but I need people around me that are going to bring positive energy into this experience. And so I'm curious to know what are what is the major crisis or crises that y'all see in Monroe or West Monroe that women and black families need to really be paying attention to? And Ebony, we're gonna go to you first.
Um, there's a lot, but the main thing that I have seen and that I have witnessed is support. We don't support each other enough.
Mm,
We 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 don't we don't support each other enough. We'll support someone else, but when it comes to us as our kind, we don't support. We're very quick to nitpick and say this, but we'll go over here and support this, and this is not any better than what we have. Um, and we're starting to raise our kids like that. So it's just like a generational thing, and that's
mm,
something definitely needs to be broken. But the main thing is support. We do not know how to truly and genuinely support one another without throwing the shade, without throwing the shots. Now, if the shoe fits, then you wear it. But when it's just we don't support enough, we it's it's like a popularity competition. It's and then on social media doesn't make it better. Social media can sometimes make it worse than what it is because if I have a clothing store and I'm new here, I might only get 5 or 10 shares. But someone that's
Mm.
grounded here, they'll get over 2,000 likes and over 200 shares. And because I'm trying to get started as a young person, it does discourage me. Many people might not say that, but those are facts. So it's just showing that support. It costs nothing to like or share. Like it's just a click of a button. And that's something that we need to get more in tune with and within this area. It's just showing up and it's just supporting. Just find something positive to say out of just one thing. Just find that one positive and not that those 10 negatives. Like if you can find just
Wow.
one positive to say out of something, then you're growing. So we just need more support. We need to just support each other more. It's like
Woo.
crabs in the
You said a lot there, right? That crisis of just that scarcity mindset where people forget that we live in an abundant world. And for those of us that are people of faith, like God even talks about that, right? That God wants us to have abundance, but we tend to think that there's not enough for everybody. Miss Ruthie, I'm interested to hear what are your thoughts? What is the major crisis or crises that you're like, hey, y'all, we've got to wake up and pay attention to this?
well, so what happens when one woman is in a crisis?
Mm.
I just believe that when one woman is in a crisis, it sets off a ripple effect throughout the community. Not just the community, it starts in the home where the crisis began. Um, so and to not so much as to piggyback off of what Ebony is saying, but then to piggyback, the support system is imbalanced throughout our community. Um, Often when a woman is in crisis, she's holding many things together. She's holding the children together, the elderly parents, the finances, the emotional support from others. So when she becomes overwhelmed, sick, or struggling, the weight of that absence falls on her and is felt through the people in the home, the people in the community, the people that she generally supports. But this is where we, as a collective care of women, come in and be that essential part of that woman. So it goes back to the level of the unhealthy support that we provide for women in general. Not so much as showing up for your events or showing up for the things that you have going or liking you on Facebook or sharing your comments, but just actually being present in the moment. If I'm going I have a court date, and I reach out to you and say, hey, I got to go to court. I know you're not a lawyer. You don't know anything about litigation or anything like that, but just your presence, being there, and I just think as a community of women, we forget to be there for one another. And I believe that when healthy community is functioning well, other women step in. It's, if we're having an event, so someone to bring the food, someone to bring the drinks, someone take the kids for a few hours, someone go sit with sister so and so, and or someone call brother so and pray with him. He's dealing with this, they're dealing with that. So I just think that the strength of the community is revealed with how quickly we show up and support one another. Those especially that we say that we're caring for, and the ones that we say that we're loving. If I'm in a community, I ought to be supporting that community. If my church is sitting in that community, then the community ought to feel that support of that ministry sitting in that community. If an organization that's sitting in that community is saying we're here for the community, that community ought to feel that support and that love. And I just think we just forget to show up and support one another. I think that's what we're failing at.
Woo! Okay. The doors of the church are now open. We're going to be passing the plate in a minute.
Yes.
Wow. So Ruthie and Ebony, I want to thank y'all so much for jumping on for this episode. And just the wisdom that y'all were able to give to the listeners of the podcast. So before we talk about what our heart, head, and hands, what we learned, I just want to remind people that this is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And just a reminder that Black adults are 20% more likely to have colorectal cancer and 40% more likely to die from it. So if you are over the age of 50, you need to be having a conversation with your primary care provider about getting screened if you have had colorectal cancer in your family, right? So y'all need to be having these conversations. We don't particularly like talking about chronic diseases and who had what in our family, but you need to know. But if you've had a family member who has had colorectal cancer, you actually might need to be getting screened earlier than the age of 50. So have a conversation with your primary care provider about what your risks are and when your screening should occur. So in our heads, hands, and heart segment, so what did we learn today? What I heard Ruthie and Miss Ebony say was that a sign of a healthy community is how well we neighbor each other, how well we love up on each other. And so each of these women gave you examples of the things that they do. I can tell you personally, Ujima had the beautiful experience of being able to partner with Ruthie and Ebony. And there's another one in their family, Brittany, who is another amazing community-facing woman. And y'all, we were able to feed, I think we provided almost 4,000 meals, right, during the ice storm. And I think Brittany and her husband were able to provide even more than that because they took their food truck out and took the food to the people. So these women are examples of walking into those rooms, right, so that they can be able to learn about the resources and be able to partner and meet the needs. They are wonderful vessels of support for their families and also for their communities. And why does this matter? Because we're all connected, y'all. So don't forget that factor that we are all connected. And so I just want to thank Ebony and Ruthie again for jumping on today and sharing their wisdom with us. And y'all have a good one. Be a great neighbor. And just remember that this was the block. This is 365 Ujima, where community becomes care and care builds our power. Have a good one, everyone. See you next episode.
The lawyers say we have to say this.
The content is for educational and informational purposes only.
does not constitute medical advice or a doctor-patient relationship, and is not a substitute for professional diagnosis or treatment. We urge listeners to consult a qualified healthcare provider for any health concerns. The opinions represent those of the individuals and not their organizational affiliations.